New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is acknowledging tonight that some of his behavior toward female co-workers has been, quote, misinterpreted as unwanted flirtation. Cuomo's comments come after claims that he sexually harassed at least 2 women who worked for him. The governor now says he will cooperate with an investigation led by the state attorney general. NewsNation reporter McGee Hickey has the latest.
Who should look into this latest round of allegations of sexual harassment by a former aide to Governor Andrew Cuomo? New York State Attorney General Letitia James said her office should be the one rejecting Governor Cuomo's proposal that the AG's office and the chief judge appoint an independent investigator. James also wants her office to handle with full subpoena power. While I have deep respect for Chief Judge DeFiore, I am the duly elected Attorney General, and it is my responsibility to carry out this task. 25-year-old Charlotte Bennett, a former health policy advisor, said the 63-year-old governor asked her inappropriate questions about her sex life, including if she'd ever had sex with an older man. These latest sexual harassment charges following another former aide and accuser, Lindsey Boylan, who claimed the governor forcibly kissed her on the lips and asked her to play strip poker. Even President Biden, through his press secretary, is weighing in.
Charlotte should be treated with respect and dignity. So should Lindsey. And there should be an independent review looking into these allegations. And that's certainly something he supports and we believe should move forward as quickly as possible.
Governor Cuomo immediately denied these latest sexual harassment allegations and said a full and thorough outside review should be conducted by former federal judge Barbara Jones. But immediately a chorus of politicians, both Republicans and Democrats, rejected that idea, like Long Island Congresswoman Kathleen Rice tweeting, "The accused cannot appoint the investigator, period." Mayor de Blasio saying the investigation into sexual misconduct must be led by someone fully independent of the governor, not the former business partner of the governor's top advisor. The mayor, a longtime adversary of the governor, also said the state legislature should revoke the emergency powers that overrule local control during the pandemic. And at least 3 Democrats in the state legislature called on the governor to resign over these latest sexual assault allegations.
I think the allegations are disgusting. They're sickening. They have to be taken seriously. These women are coming forward. There is a suggestion that there's evidence, emails. And the governor did not appear to really directly deny the allegations from this latest victim.
New York City mayoral candidate Maya Wiley, just one of so many politicians weighing in. Also, U.S. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand calling on the Attorney General to conduct a full and transparent investigation with full subpoena power. From outside the governor's office, McGee Hickey, NewsNation, New York City.